How many times do you get up in the night to pee? And is it easy to get back to sleep after? My guest and I have helped hundreds of women improve their breathing, which has resulted in better sleep, calmer bladders, and greater focus. Today, we're going to explain the connection and provide accessible strategies and get you on the road to greater energy for what you love. So let's go. Welcome to episode number 38 of the Midlife Reset podcast. I'm your host, Cheryl Gordon, yoga therapist, mindfulness coach, and your trusted friend when you need advice about aging strong holistically. Please welcome my guest, Fariya Doctor. I have been a client of Fariya's as she's amazing and super smart. She is a registered massage therapist and a longtime practitioner of the Feldenkrais movement therapy. Together, we've prepared a really unique program to address a problem that plagues so many of us midlife women. Up to pee 3, 4, 5 times in a night. It is so exhausting. So I'd like to turn this presentation now over to Fariya as she presents a little bit of science and practicality around breathing, bladder issues, and better sleep. Fariya, take it away.
Thank you very much, Cheryl. I'll be doing a screen share. I have some slides. So, Cheryl, if you could enable me to do
Of
the screen
course.
share, that would be great. One of the reasons why I really love this topic is because it's so powerful and so changeable. People don't realize how quickly they can change their sleep outcome. So, as a Feldenkrais practitioner, I kind of understand function is how to optimize function is a big thing for me. I love being able to help people optimize function. And being a Buteyko breathing instructor has helped me understand the science behind improving breathing so that you can sleep. And then Cheryl will be talking about what to do if you are awake in the middle of the night. But one aspect is your breathing pattern. So I'm just going to share my screen and you let me know if
Should
you,
be okay.
here we are. It's so one of the things that people don't often realize is that they have an underlying breathing problem. So they're destabilized with their breathing during the day so that at nighttime, they have a hard time slowing down enough and staying asleep. So, what is a breathing pattern disorder? It's something where we're breathing more than we need. So, one of the definitions is that breathing pattern disorders are patterns of overbreathing where the depth and the rate of breath is in excess of our body's needs. So, it's not someone having a panic attack. It can sometimes just be a person who is breathing more than 20 times a minute, in meaning in and out. So it's quite common, and it is very common if you're breathing through your mouth. You're more likely to be doing short, quick breaths through your mouth during the day. So what ends up happening when we do end up having a faster breath and we're breathing through our mouth during the day is that our internal chemistry gets messed up. The chemistry or the balance between carbon dioxide and oxygen. Yes, carbon dioxide is that gas that we're expelling, but interestingly enough, our brain has a receptor that monitors carbon dioxide, not oxygen, because normally we're at saturation rate in our oxygen levels most of the time, unless we have a lung disorder. But most of the time we have enough oxygen. It's the carbon dioxide that gets monitored. So if our carbon dioxide levels are too low in our body, this is what happens. We can feel anxious, we can have headaches, we can be stiff and sore, or we could feel a chest tightness, our extremities get cold, muscles get tight, allergies get aggravated, all those annoying things. And our hormone cycles can get altered and destabilized as well. Pins and needles. So the cool thing is that it can be reversed really quickly. All we need to do is slow our breathing down, reduce the volume, and reduce the effort. So this is something that I love teaching as a Buteyko breathing instructor. Now, how does that affect our bladder? What's that got to do with our bladder? So one of the things in terms of destabilization is a hormone and neuromodulator called vasopressin. Now, vasopressin tends to climb in the evening and when we're asleep. But if we have a destabilized breathing pattern, the function of vasopressin is basically to manage fluid in the body, because we're asleep maybe 8 hours or less, but we're resting and breathing. So we're respiring, we're losing fluid more if we do it through our mouth. By the way, we dry out faster. And so it creates a balancing effect of fluid. So it'll keep fluid cycling through our kidneys, and it will prevent our bladder from filling during the night. But if our vasopressin levels drop, our bladder starts to fill during the night. And when it does, it wakes us up. And one of the cool things I got this picture. This picture is from wholewoman.com, and it shows us a visual of where a bladder sits. A lot of times people think of it as just being stacked, but they're kind of more lateral. So if you can see where the bladder is sitting, it's sitting pretty low, then a uterus, and then the sigmoid colon. And so it gives you a very useful diagram of how all of that sits. And why is this important is because when the bladder's filling, of course, it puts a lot of pressure in the pelvis. And then, of course, we feel it during the night and we have to get up and empty our bladder. And, I think most of us understand the sleep hygiene things that we're supposed to do, like stop drinking at a certain time of the night so that our bladder doesn't fill. But again, if our breathing is off, our vasopressin levels are going to be low, and inevitably we're going to be getting up. And so there's a lot of really useful things that we can do to understand and improve that process, so that, for example, breathe through your nose during the night. Some people use sleep tape, or they'll put a special mouth guard on to prevent a lot of airflow through the mouth, maximizing the airways of the nose. So there are lots of resources out there for improving breathing and understanding the effects of breathing on our whole system, even our digestive system. It's far-reaching. So some of the books that I found really useful is Patrick McEwen. He was the one that trained me as a Buteyko breathing instructor. And one of his main books, the first books, was The Oxygen Advantage of Understanding the Science Around Breath. And then Breath, James Nestor's book, The New Science of a Lost Art. And I think James Nestor was a real tipping point for a lot of people for understanding the importance of breath to overall mental and physical health. And of course, I do teach courses. I have lots of videos on YouTube to help you out, free videos on YouTube on breathing. And I have a course, Improve Nasal Breathing, Improve Your Life, which goes through how to establish proper nasal breathing and how to improve your overall health so that you feel better during the day, think better during the day, and sleep better during the night. So that's it for me in terms of my slides. Um, and Cheryl, did I forget anything?
No, I think that the change in the hormones, is what I think people miss that part. And it's a natural dance that happens as we head towards sleep. And because of the changes in midlife, I think the hormones are upset anyway. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk a little bit about, if that's all right.
Yes,
Okay.
please do.
Okay. So we all know that in perimenopause and menopause, our progesterone and estrogen levels drop. So we know about the big hormones, but did you know about the vasopressin? So that's a really, really important point, is that there's all these subtle things. There's many, many hormones that are talking to each other and shifting. The way we breathe intimately impacts all of that hormonal balance. All right. So, just to reiterate, Fariya has some great resources on her YouTube channel, and we will be offering a $10 discount on her nasal breathing course for people who have registered for this workshop. Let's understand now the part about getting back to sleep. That's such an important part. And here's why it's getting worse. It's that change in hormones overall. These hormones are an essential part of the cocktail that creates relaxation response. Hormones in your system tell you when to pee, as Freya explained. They tell you when you're allowed to go to sleep. They tell you when you're hungry. They tell you even when you can get angry. And that's why sleep, mood, and energy often feel really unpredictable at my age. Now, how many of us wish we could get a solid 8 hours of sleep? Everybody's putting that out there as the gold standard. Well, what if I were to share with you that this goal isn't even necessary or probably worth trying to get to? I want to explain that because I know that that's going to be very different than maybe the way a lot of people were thinking. Let's just briefly talk about sleep itself. There are stages of sleep. There's the first stage of sleep where you're just like really dreamy and relaxed and in a Zen place. You're like cuddling into your bed. And I mean, you could get up and move, you're hearing things, but you're settling. You're definitely coming way, way down. The next stage of sleep is a very light sleep. You could still be woken up quite easily. Your hearing probably hasn't gone totally offline yet, but the body continues to let go and move deeper into relaxation response. Now, the slow wave or the very deep sleep, which is called non-REM sleep stage 3, is a deep physical recovery zone. This is critical for your healing and your learning, and it is a very important part of sleep. All the stages of sleep are important, but the slow wave sleep is when you're out cold. Now, REM sleep is when your brain is actually wildly active. Your dreams are happening, emotions and memories are all over. You might even have some twitching or something like that. You are generally paralyzed when you're in REM sleep, but sometimes there's a little bit of movement. Now, these stages of sleep are common to all creatures and all humans, regardless of our age. The thing that changes with our hormonal changes as we get older is the stages of sleep condense. So, on a very young person, the first wave of sleep might take hours and hours. As we get older with the hormonal changes, that stage of sleep, or that split cycle of sleep, I should say, might condense to be faster, which means you go through more cycles of sleep. You go through all four of those stages more regularly throughout the night, which means you have more likelihood at the end of your REM stage, you have more likelihood of being disturbed and brought to full consciousness. This is not bad. It's just the way things are. And as soon as you understand that, then you don't panic so much when you wake up in the middle of the night. So maybe it's your bladder that's woken you up. Maybe it's something else like a noise, because hearing is the last sense to go to sleep. But if you don't panic about coming to consciousness after your full wave of sleep, then you can slip into the next wave with less drama. Now, that's what I really want to talk about, is that insertion point right there. This is where non-sleep deep rest becomes your secret superpower. Because when we're not sleeping, it's nasty, right? Super frustrating. We get mad at ourselves. We feel broken. even embarrassed because we keep complaining about we're not sleeping. I mean, I was a yoga teacher for heaven's sakes. How mortifying to drag my sorry ass into a morning class, bleary-eyed and promising bliss to the masses when I wasn't sleeping very much. This was just unacceptable. So I did a really deep dive into sleep science, into all the yoga tools, and I put them to the test in my own bedroom, which is right next door to where I'm talking to you from today. And here's my important finding. You don't need to sleep a solid 8 hours in order to wake up feeling rested, focused, and positive. What you do need is a way to find self-soothing during those wakeful times when you come up out of the cycle of sleep after your REM, after you're dreaming, and you need to soothe yourself to get back into deep relaxation. I know this firsthand because I tell you, I do not sleep solid through the night. But now I'm using these methods, I feel so much better. I use the tricks. Most of us panic in the night. I don't know if you do, but I used to. We have to get up in the morning. Not another bad night, you know? These tricks are based on the science of non-sleep deep rest. This is intentionally putting your brain into a relaxed and restorative state without actually being asleep. It restores your energy, calms your hormones, primes your learning. Think of it as plugging your cell phone into the charger. Research suggests that 1 hour of NSDR could be equal to 4 hours of a regular sleep cycle. So that's a superpower if I've ever heard of one. So let's get to the actual strategies. Number one, 3 a.m. wake up. What are you going to do? Number one, stay calm. Instead of fighting wakefulness, do some breathing. Remind yourself that another sleep wave is waiting for you. So there are many different methods to staying calm and bringing yourself back into a relaxed state of mind. I use an app called Insight Timer. There's a free version, and there are thousands of sleep meditations on there. You may have a different thing on your phone, or you may have other techniques. I want to share three specific ones with you in just a moment. But the number one thing I want to emphasize is staying calm. Don't get upset. That's going to fire up different hormonal stuff, and it's going to make it very hard to get back to sleep. Now, let's talk about the first actual thing you can do in your bed. This is an eye relaxation technique. We can try it right now. As long as you're not driving in a car, I think it's going to be okay. When I'm lying in my bed at night, I place a pillow underneath my elbows so I can take the hands over top of my eyes and my shoulders and my arms can still be relaxed. But we're sitting up probably, so you might not be able to get a pillow underneath there. But take your hands and cup your palms. So just let your eyes close and rest your palms. They're not really touching your eyelids. Good. And take a moment to feel the warmth from your palms penetrating into those tired muscles of your eyes. And right away, I usually start to feel somewhat sense of soothing right away. Now we're going to do a few movements with the eyes here. Your head staying stable. You're just moving your eyeballs. So slowly take your eyeballs all the way over to the left and then move horizontally slowly over to the right. And we're moving that slow. Go back and forth a couple times. You'll notice your eyes, especially if you're in a really stressed state, bounce around a lot. That's normal. We're going to go 3 times in a horizontal direction. Then we're going to change this and move the eyeballs up and down. So going in a vertical direction. Again, don't move your head, just move your eyeballs as best as you can. 3 times up and down. Then we go on the diagonal. So from the top left corner to the bottom right corner, and then back up, nice and slow, slowing down. Good. 3 times in that direction. And then we go 3 times in the opposite diagonal, top right corner to bottom left corner, back and forth. And taking your time, not moving your head, just your eyeballs. Then taking your eyeballs in a nice big circle in one direction. I often think that of this as the Marty Feldman movement. Back in the other direction, big circle. And we do about 3 movements each time. And then squeezing your eye muscles shut, all your eyelids shut, squeeze and relax on purpose. Squeeze and relax on purpose. And then squeeze and relax on purpose. Perfect. I like to rest just for a breath or two with the hands still there. Notice the relaxation sensations in my eyes, my face, my jaw. Okay, I hope you like that. Now, here's why it works. I always want to know the whys about everything. The cranial nerves that go to your eyes, part of them go to your eyes, and they are the most forward part of the cranial nerves in your body. I often think of them as like little antennae looking around, what's going on? Should I be nervous about anything? Just like a little ant or something, you know? And those nerves, as soon as you start to become anxious, they get very activated. Those nerves are connected to the big nerve that helps you relax back to sleep. It's called the vagus nerve. So when you stimulate and stretch those nerves, you're signaling that hormonal cocktail that it's safe to go back into relaxation response. It's very calming for most people most of the time. Okay, so that's the eye relaxation. The next technique you can try in the middle of the night is what I call backwards breath. It's a version of counting sheep, I guess. There are 99 bottles of beer on the wall, but it's a specific kind of application of that. So, a lot of studies show 31 to 0 is adequate to get people back to sleep. For me, because I guess I'm a real type A high need person, I start at 100 and go backwards. So the technique is simple. You breathe in and you breathe out your normal rate, your normal way, in and out through the nose, as Fariya taught us. And you count 100 in, 100 out, 99 in, 99 out, 98 in, 98 out. And you go all the way down to 0. Now, most of the time, if you don't fall asleep, you'll get distracted. Your good friend, the brain, will try to get you all revved up about something. So that the rule is you got to go back and start at 100 again. And some nights you might go back to 100 times. But the reason that this works is it takes your brain to count backwards. You have to move into a different part of your brain. It takes you out of the worry, anxiety part of your brain that's keeping you awake and pulls you into a different part that's more logical, that kind of reads the room better and knows that this is sleep time. Yeah, okay, I guess we'll go to sleep now. So it's just kind of like talking sense to yourself. So backwards breathing. The third and final technique I'd like to share with you in this presentation is doing restorative yoga right in bed. I'm not sure if you've ever had the bliss of a full restorative yoga class, but I highly recommend it. But you can adapt many of the postures and do them right in bed. I sleep with 3 pillows. That's another podcast. But I take those pillows and I give myself supported child's pose, supported rotated child's pose, legs up the pillows, so an elevated legs position. I do reclining twist propped up with pillows, butterfly legs propped up with pillows. Now, all of these poses may or may not be something you're familiar with, but I also have resources on YouTube. Just message me and I'm really glad to show you photos or send you videos because I think restorative yoga is just such a wonderful thing for everybody to do. I do this right in bed underneath my covers so I stay warm. And a lot of times I actually do fall back asleep in one of those restorative poses. And I do have a partner right beside me. He's still snoring. And I really need him to listen to Fariya's talk about not mouth breathing because he's got all the things that she said would happen if he mouth breathes. So I'll make sure he sees the replay on this. Now you can get the audio and video guidance for these strategies I've just talked about, as well as further tips for how to set yourself up with a better morning routine in my Sleep Solutions course. It's an online course. I'm going to offer as well, like Fariya is, $10 off for people who register through this presentation. When your nervous system feels safe, my friends, your body can heal. And when your body heals, your brain can learn. And when your brain learns, midlife becomes a season of possibility, not decline. So, Fariya, thank you so much for joining me in this presentation today. And I'll just remind everybody that we'll put the links to Fariya's YouTube resources, to her breathing course, to my sleep solutions, and you can message either one of us, and we're happy to provide any guidance. So, Fariya, namaste. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
sharing with me today.
Thank you so much. You provided some information that I did not know. So
And that's quite an accomplishment.
I'm
Talk soon. Hey, girlfriend, I'm so glad that you're listening to this podcast. But I wonder if you wanted to take the work a bit deeper. Would you like to feel lighter, sleep better, and wake up energized again? Join my 60-minute free masterclass to learn the 5 steps that help me lose 25 pounds, reset my body, and finally feel calm, strong, and confident again. You can register on my website, and I really hope to see you soon.